Welcome to the Citrix Podio Workflow Automation tutorial. First, we'll get started by showing a quick introduction of just the Podio side of the structure. So on Podio, this is a main landing page. To the left in the upper corner, you'll see your organization names along with any workspaces. And when you click on a workspace, you have your list of apps across the top. When you upgrade your Podio plan to Premium, you'll gain access to Citrix Podio Workflow Automation. This is where you have access to a lot of different automations that will save you a lot of time and a lot more complex than the Podio side. So when you upgrade your account in Podio to Premium, this is where you'll have access. There's two different ways that you can access the Workflow Automation site. One is just by going to workflow-automation.podio.com. Another way is if you click into an app and click the wrench icon on the left-hand side, you'll have the option for Workflow Automation. Now, when you log in to Workflow Automation, you click this button in the right-hand corner, and you have a couple of different options sometimes. If you only belong to one account on both the Workflow Automation side and one that you're an admin on the Podio side, you'll just log into your normal account. If you belong to two and you've been added to their Workflow Automation side, you're going to get this screen. Some people have one, some people have 10. It really just depends on your situation. You always want to make sure that you are logging into the account that you plan to build flows out of. So if I wanted to help Mac with her organization and build flows for her, I would log in here. But for this example, we're just going to log into our account. And this is your first main landing page when you log in. On the left-hand side, you see your organizations, and then you see any workspaces, and then if you dig deeper, you find your apps. We'll go into this a little bit later, but first, I think it's really important to note these top titles that you have here. One is your My Flows page. This is page right here. Then you have your logs. If you have any logs that you need to look at or you want to see what's going on, this is a great place to look here. You can also look by errors and actions only and flow completions. The next one we can go through is our Help tab. This is where you can see some examples, our help manual, get to your support tickets, and our workspace on Podio. This is a great place that you should join if you want to use our user forum. This is where many people ask questions. A lot of our partners and super users help answer them, as you can see right here. The last one is the account page. You're going to want to go to account details to take a look at some specifics of the account plan wide. So first, if you have account usage and you notice any of your flows are taking a very long time to run, more than usually just a few seconds, you're going to want to check this throttled apps and webhooks. This is where you will see in red what's being throttled, and then you can adjust from there. Additional users, this is where you can add additional Podio users to your Workflow Automation account. You're not charged any extra as your plan is all covered by the Podio Premium plan. You just simply add a new user here, enter their email address, and hit save. They will need to be an admin member of the Podio workspace in order to have access. If you plan on using your own SMTP server, this is where you can add that here. And any Citrix integrations you can add here. So in my case, I have Citrix ShareFile and Write Signature. If you plan to send out text messages or SMS, you'll need to contact ClickSend, and then you can configure it here and pay for that service over there. This is also where you can join our workspace. If you need any account help, our help manual can be located here. We do have a vast area where you can look up almost any article that we have. Pretty much everything is covered here, and we have quite a few pages. So this can help walk you through a lot of information as well. But let's get started with the My Flows. Before you really get started building any flows, or if you haven't touched flows for a very long time, something to notice is that the accounts, while they are linked, they're still in separate systems. So if you add any apps or edit them or delete anything or add workspaces, They're not going to show up here until you go down to the bottom, and in blue, there's refresh from Podio. That's going to pull in any changes that you've done on the Podio side and bring it over to the workflow automation side. So I'm going to click this, and it'll show you what happens. It goes through every organization, and then workspace level, and then app level, and updates everything for you. Okay, so once that's done, you can start building your flows. So let's see here. Let's go into the accounting, and let's just take a look at a flow, and we'll run a test one. So anytime you want to build a flow, you just find your app. You can click the Add New and New Flow. We have a lot of different options for your trigger point. Let's just do an item created to get started. So you'll have a trigger, you'll have a filter, and you have an action. It is basically made up of if something happens, when something is filtered, and then do the following. It's pretty basic, but you can get very, very complex with it. So we'll just do a real quick one, and then we'll walk through a test one that I already created for you. So trigger when an item is created in the returns app for accounting purposes. We'll do a field value match. We will say that the year is equal to 2021, and then we want to do something. In this case, we'll just say we'll add a task. We'll select our user. We'll use the prepare and task title. Maybe we'll do a client name and then follow up. So if you notice, I went to this little icon to get this nice blue token. So what this is a gigantic list of everything that is already included in your flow. So in this case, I'm using the return app. So that's why I pulled in all of these return items. These are all of the fields that are on the Podio side of that app. So I can customize pretty much anything for each individual item. And then down below, you have the standard that's included in all of your token lists. So they'll always turn out blue. If it's not blue, you might want to delete and redo your token. So due date, we'll just say current date, due time, current time, plus maybe 3 hours. And then give full details. Let's see. Please follow up to make sure client is taken care of. That sounds good. And then you're going to want to label your flow name. You can make it pretty simple here, then add a longer description. Just depends on what you have going on. So in this case, we will say 2021 tax year follow up. And then you'll hit save. So for that one, let's just go ahead and walk through it, and then we'll run the example. So when an item is created in returns, so let's go to our accounting workspace, and in our returns, and we'll do a nice side-by-side so you can see everything. So we're in our return app when a new item is created. So let's go ahead and create that new item. And for the client, we'll just say it's Mr. Castillo. Prepare, let's say it's going to be Renee. And if you look here, we have a filter. If the year, which is this field, is equal to 2021. So that needs to be set. And we'll just say they're a partnership. And let's get that saved. So item has been created. Let's go ahead and refresh. And then here we go. We have our returns. So that's the task that was added. If you go down to the bottom, you'll see my task being added down here. So this flow ran successfully. No issues, no problems. What you can also do is, let's say that flow is running, but you want to make sure that something really happened without having to look at this side, or you're doing some tests. You want to see what's actually going on in the back end. So for that, you can go back to your flow, and then you can click on this logs tab right here, And this will walk you through everything that Workflow Automation did step by step. So it's triggering the flow on item create. It's performing what's called a field value match, which is your filter. And then it's performing a create task, which is this guy right here. And then it completed the flow. Pretty simple. So let's take a look at one more example. We'll do this one. Now let's see what this one says. This one is when an item is updated in returns, and if the status is equal to filed, send an email and assign some tasks. Let's go ahead and give it a try. Okay, so we got our side by side. We're going to use the same example. So this one was an item is updated, so this item already exists. If status is equal to filed, so let's find our status field. Here's our status field. It already says filed. Let me go unselect that, and then we'll reselect it. All right, and then it's going to send an email and assign some tasks. So let's take a look, see what happened. There we go. There's our tasks. They are done. And let's take a look at the logs on the Workflow Automation side to make sure it actually happened. All right, so here's our flow. Let's go ahead and look at the logs list and expand this a bit. And let's take a look. So item updated, performing the field value match. That's our filter. Send an email, which is next. It tells you who it sent the email to. And then performing create task and create task, which down here we have 2 tasks and then completed flow. If there are any actual issues of error messages or something erroring out, the logs are a really great tool to look at because the errors will be in bright red and they'll tell you exactly what's wrong. If you ever have a flow that just isn't working how you want, or you're not sure how to set something up, anything like that, you are always welcome to look at our help documentation, but also to contact support. So if you're in a flow, say you have an error message, you can't figure out what it is, or you're trying to do something, but it's not quite working how you want. When you're in your flow, you can actually click this black help button, and you have a couple options here. One is you can go to our help manual and take a look and see if anything in there is helpful for your situation. The other problem is submit ticket. Once you hit submit ticket, this will bring you to our Citrix customer service area where you can reach out to our support team. So what are you having trouble with? In this case, it's always going to be Podio at first, and then you can put something in here. That's the subject line. We'll just say trying to send email and then hit continue. You'll be brought to a page where you can possibly look at some articles that might help you. If none of those are helping you or you've already searched them, go ahead and click on final step. Here, this is where you're going to add workflow automation for your type of issue. So it'll bring you directly to the workflow automation team. For the flow ID, you can find that back at your flow. So you have a couple different ways that you can look at it. If you're already in your flow, the URL, the last number of digits, that's actually your flow ID. So if you send us that and you send us the title of your flow, we can take a look at your flow directly and go right to the problem. But if you're not already in your flow, what you can do is you can click on the flow that has the issues or problems, and down here at the bottom, it'll give you the name and the ID. So in this case, I'm just going to copy that and I'll paste it right in here so that the support team can take a look. And then here you can provide any detailed information, maybe like I'm trying to send an email, but the email never gets sent. Anything like that. Enter your name, information, your email address, a phone number, the primary account owner email address. That may or may not be you, but that helps us find your account much quicker. And then you're going to click I'm not a robot to actually send your message. And you have your CAPTCHA, which hopefully I got that correctly. Perfect, I did. And then you're going to click submit case. You'll get an email confirmation that you received it, and then we'll contact you through email to help follow up. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, we are always here for you. You are more than welcome to reach out with any problems you may have. Thanks.